Hey, this is Dave here coming at you from Grand Blanc again. It's April 4th or 5th, 2019, and I just wanted to kind of show you what I'm up to right now. You know, this is a really good time of the year when it's not frozen, but yet the plants are all still dormant. They'll be dormant for another at least 2 or 3 weeks. We've been getting somewhat of warm weather, but it is still dropping down below freezing every so often. So anyways, I'll show you what I do. On a previous video I showed you how I put these cuttings from softwood cuttings from the previous year in these boxes, usually between June 15th, August 15th. Those right around those in between that 2-month period is ideal for softwood, semi-hard cuttings. And what I do is then I just leave them once they root within 3 or 4 weeks. I just leave them right in the box. That way it conserves space. You can see, like, here are some Annabelle hydrangeas, I believe, and they do much better when they're all rooted together like that. And then you can see how I threw some leaves in there just to add some protection. But these basically sit out all year. So what I do is while they're still dormant, I put them in pots. I dig them out of the sand and I put them in pots. That way you're not dealing with hurting the plants. Once they start leafing out and growing, it can hurt the plants. It's kind of like, the best analogy I can give you is you don't do open heart surgery on somebody who's wide awake, because they'll die. You have to bring them down to a really cold, slow rate in order to pull the procedure off, or else they'll die. Same thing with plants. You can pretty much do whatever you want with them in this stage, because right now they're basically you know, under anesthesia, and this is a good time to do it. The bugs don't bother you. You're not sweating to death out here. The sun's not beating down on you. These right here are some burning bush, and I'll just show you kind of what I'm doing here. So here they are, and this is basically what they look like when I'm done. And I'll show you how to do one. I'll try to do one-handed just because I don't have anyone to film me. So I did these already here, and so here I'll pull this one out. You'll see that how nicely rooted they are. Look at that. And this is basically takes, to get something like that, you're talking from, this one was done on 4th of July actually. This is when I basically took the cutting off the plant, stuck it in rooting hormone, put it in the sand on July 4th, 2018, and then now we're at April 4th or 5th, 2019, in the early spring. And so what I'll do, depending on the plant, if it grows fast or grows slow, I try to put it in the pot that I'll be selling it in. Right now I'm kind of limited on topsoil, and I'm going to put it in a little bit smaller of a pot, but this will be fine. This is a little bit the size down from like a 1 gallon. Just put it in like that to where it's filled, you know, and then what you do is you gonna make like a volcano in the center, depending on the plant, but most plants you want to make the little volcano real quick. When I'm doing it with both hands, I can knock out, I'd probably knock out 100 plants in like an hour when I'm flying, especially when I'm just daydreaming, thinking of other things. Basically put it in like that, put dirt on one side, scoop it real quick, put it on the other side real quick. I usually don't press the dirt down too much. You don't want to compact it too much, but I'll compact the outer edge pretty decent. Push it down just a little bit, finish it off the top, just like that. And a lot of people say, well, leave it down lower, like, you know, below the pot. But if you do that, I'll show you real quick what happens in 1 year's time. You want to leave it almost kind of higher on the rim, because in 1 year's time, no matter what you do, you're always going to end up with this at the following year. It's going to be sagged down. A lot of times what you'll end up through the winter, you'll see this plant right here. Believe it or not, it's still alive, but you can see, I'll turn it on the side, it's sunk down below the roots. So I just kind of look at it like, the higher up you build it. I don't mean you build it high up on the plant stem. You just build it, you plant the plant a little bit higher in the pot, and then you build up the dirt a little bit higher. You still want the dirt to break at the bottom of the plant base, because you don't want to smother the plant, kill it. But anyways, that's what we're doing here. And let me just pull out a couple of more of these, because if you're a gardener like me, it's very satisfying to see rooted cuttings being pulled out of a pot or out of sand. And I'm just using this flat bar And that's another beautiful thing about doing it this time of year too. When they're not growing, you can be pretty vicious on these roots. You can break them. It's not going to hurt the plant at all. The plant doesn't even know what you're doing to it. So here we go, another one, big rooted cutting. I would say that the span from left to right on those roots is a good 4 to 4.5 inches wide. Even these small ones, I mean, look at this tiny cutting. It's still just got massive roots. And once the spring hits and these start leafing out, within a few months, people are buying these from me for $5-7 a piece. I've never tried to sell them for more. I just feel that if it were me buying a plant that has a couple branches on it that are well rooted in a thing like this, I'd spend $5-7 all day long on these. And I bet you there's some in here that are hidden that have just massive roots. You always pull out a couple that are just freaks of nature and they just are huge. And then what you do with those is put them in a bigger pot and sell them for a lot more money. Some plants, like here, I'll show you real quick. I did these earlier, the Daisy Montauk's. I think I have a previous video that I said they sell these real fast. Some here, I just did these earlier. I did all these, and you can see the green growth on the top. They don't look like much now. They almost look like they're dead with the dead leaves, but that's just all previous year's growth that just kind of hangs around. Once you start, once it starts warming up, all that dead stuff falls off. The stem gets greener, and there'll be side buds that break from the bottom. It just turns into a big old bush. And geez, within a month of this leafing out, same thing, $5-7 in these containers. And you just do Facebook groups, buy, sell, trade, and people will show up. They'll buy 20, 30 at a time sometimes. It's a good gig. So here's some more here too that I did earlier today. And I still have one full tray. My ADHD, I just get bored and I want to do a different plant. And I'll do these probably in the next few days. Anyways, just want to show you what I'm doing. And I got a big tree order coming in, so I might do a video when I get my trees. I ordered 350 trees from a wholesaler out of Oregon, and maybe I'll do a video when I'm potting those up. All right, signing off.